Okay, so this video is basically my first couple of work trips with the Tesla and how supercharging enabled me to get to where I needed to go. The kind of length of time I was there, the infrastructure around the superchargers, as in most of the ones I stopped at were welcome breaks, and the facilities there, as in visually. I didn't really go into detail too much about what was actually there. It's a typical thing. You got your fast food restaurants, your local shops that sell sandwiches and books and magazines, and then basically toilets. There is one exception to that on the route. Obviously, watch the video and hope you enjoy. So this first trip is basically from my house to Kidlington. As you can see, it's 98.2 miles if we go along the M4. The actual route I took was the one that goes up to Cheltenham and across, so that was 96.7 miles there, and then coming back I would basically have to go down to the M4 more Oxford way to supercharge. As it's 100 miles, I can get to Kidlington without any issues, and I'll go into more detail. Okay, so we're now at Kidlington, and yeah, I'm just gonna start heading off home, and as you can see, the route home, saying I should get home in 2 hours 40 minutes, after 20 minutes after supercharge. This is the first trip that I've needed to actually supercharge, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. So this is the route home I had to take from Kidlington. So we went down past Oxford, down to Didcot, onto the M4 to Membry Services, where they had 8 superchargers, 4 of which were being used. Now I mentioned this in the video clip in a second, but I'll explain here a bit better. The A and B at superchargers, they're actually linked, so if you have a car in A and a car in B, you will take charge from the from the other car. This is obviously helped if people don't do that and we park in alternate corners. So for example, everyone was parked at A or B, but not with the same number at the start, therefore we all got a fast charge. Okay.
1 hour later.
Okay, so we are now at the Membry service station. I've just plugged in. We got 25 minutes on the supercharger. Don't know if you can catch that. Oops, but there you go. So 282 miles an hour. Literally just plugged it in, so still climbing at the moment. Set to full charge, which I shouldn't really have. So let's just move that down. Oh, it's not gonna let me. Why won't it set charge limit? There we go. There we go. And 25 minutes till I continue my trip. So took a wrong turn, so I'm here about 10-15 minutes too late, which is a bit of a pain, but whatever. And yeah, there's 4 of the cars here at the moment, so we've all parked. As you can see, we've all parked slightly differently, obviously, so we don't take charge from the other cars next to us. Obviously, as it goes, it's 1A and B, 2A and B, and so on and so forth. Okay.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I just supercharging. It's got to 100 miles. I don't know if you can hear that noise. Sounds like it's coming from over here. Sorry about that. But the actual steering column is rattling from, I'm assuming, from that noise. Or something to do with that noise. It started happening probably about 10 miles ago, so about 5 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago. I put the aircon on, and it seems to be changing the valves for the aircon every couple of minutes, which is weird as well. There you go, just change them again. I got it on 22, so it's not like some major issue or anything, but just don't know if it's weird to have the steering column rattling. I'm just going to try and turn it a little bit. Odd. Might have to contact service centre about that. See what happens, see what they say. We interrupt this video for a public service announcement. The rattling, as I describe it, which was more of a vibration to be honest, is standard. It's normal when supercharging, because obviously the fans at the front of the car kick in to cool the coolant for the battery, and the fact that I had the aircon on as well. The valves I'm on about opening and shutting are basically the blowers where you select if it wants to blow up the windscreen or your feet or your body. It's completely normal. I checked with the Tesla service engineer, who was just happened to be on the road and stopped next to me supercharging at Birmingham, and he said it was completely normal. Okay, so we've been here for about 25, almost 30 minutes. Just sat in my car, then popped to the welcome break for a quick loo break, and we are at 100 miles, so we're good to go, and we're going to start heading off shortly. Well, actually now, so we'll stop charging. Right. So needless to say, I made it. I'm home. The unfortunate thing is I don't have any video clips. I did have some really good shots of going over the Severn Bridge with the sun setting, but unfortunately that got overwrote on the dash cam before I could pull it off, so that's a bit of a shame. So if we move on to the next trip, which was basically going from home to Bradford, we'll just kick straight off into that one. So the initial plan for the Bradford one was basically charge 100%, so that's 220 miles in my Tesla Model S 70, and then try and hit Bradford in one supercharge, but it was gonna be a slight issue doing that, because obviously Bradford is 225 miles, as you can see on screen, and I had to also stop off in Nottingham on the way, which added an extra couple of miles, which means it was pretty much going to be impossible in one stop. It's more efficient to basically go to multiple superchargers and not try and charge 100% on a supercharger, if that makes sense, because once your battery is below a certain percentage, you get a lot more kilowatt into the battery per second than you do with a high state of charge. And now at Birmingham service station, it's actually the Hopwood Park. Don't know if you can see that, but yeah. So just charged. Ooh, where's it gone? 143 miles. Waiting for it to get 200. So I'm obviously travelling to Nottingham first, and then going to Bradford. I need to pick something up in Nottingham and go up to Bradford. There is quite a lot of superchargers here. So there's 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, at least 18 superchargers here, and there's been quite a lot of turnover in terms of cars, so yeah, I've seen at least 6 or 7 come in and go, so yeah, and I'm going to be heading off shortly. So I'm going to make my stop for work, and then I'm probably going to go to the, there you go, we just hit 200 miles. Make my stop in Nottingham and then go to the supercharger in the south of Bradford. Just so I can top it up, so the next day I only have to do one more supercharge stop on the way back down. So yeah, here we go. Safe driving, hopefully.
Later.
Okay, so I am now here at my second supercharger at Tanxley Manor. Don't know if you see that. I'm just going to start heading off. This bloke just turned up. Well, I say turned up. He turned up about 5 minutes ago. It's the first time that I've been at a supercharger, and there's only 2 superchargers, to be fair to him, so don't get that wrong. Obviously, where I'm sharing the power now, it dropped only by about 20 kilowatt. I had about 30% left. I just need to top up to be able to get to my destination in Bradford, to then be able to get to the next supercharger, which is this one or another one, but I'd rather get this one. And yeah, it dropped off only 20 kilowatt. 20 kilowatts, and now it's at 54. It was at 70 odd. Obviously, naturally, it would have gone down anyway due to the higher percentage, the less charge you can chuck in the battery. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a long day so far in terms of just supercharging twice to get to my destination. Obviously, it's 200 odd miles to get up here, and obviously I've got 70. So 220 miles on a full charge. I had about 210 when I left. I didn't do full charge. And then charge at Birmingham, charge here. So I've got 135 miles roughly, which basically is, bear with me, 61% currently. So 61%, and I've got enough miles now to get me to Bradford and then get back here without any issues. So that's the blog then, I guess. Catch you later. So I got to my destination in Bradford, no issues at all, a little later than I planned initially, but I had a good 110 miles left when I arrived, so that was more than enough to get me to the next supercharger, and I changed my plans a little bit. I was going to go to the supercharger at the south of Bradford, but in the end I decided to just go for the M1 charger, which we will show you in the next clip. But yeah, it was a long day, but in terms of breaking up the day, obviously being my first long trip, 2 hours plus, you know, as a trip generally, it was good to break up the day. I felt like I was a lot more, I'll say, fresh by the time I got there, rather than when I normally, in a nice car, my previous CRZ, I would just do that trip in one go and not stop and not have any breaks. Now, yes, it's more convenient because the day technically goes quicker, but I arrived feeling drained, or like I woke up early, which I had, and basically done nothing but drive, which is basically what I had done. But in terms of the Tesla, getting out and stretching my legs every hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, depending on the state of charge and what I needed to get to the next one, it felt a lot better to break the day up. So I'm kind of glad that that it does that, and the drive used to just drone on and on in the CRZ, whereas in the Tesla it just went like a really quick day. I don't know if that'll change. Maybe it's because it's new, but new to me, I mean. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. So I don't have any footage for the next 2 supercharger stops, but I will post images I took by here. The first one is the station on the M1, and then I basically returned back to the Birmingham station that I stopped off at on the way up. I only needed to stay there for 10 minutes, and I literally, that's all I did, 10 minutes, enough to put in the car, almost 80 miles to get me home without any issues, and have a surplus of 15% when I actually got home. So that basically concludes the video, and I think I learned quite a bit on the trip. It might not seem it, so odd little things. The steering wheel vibrating when supercharging is nothing to worry about. How much I can actually do on a full charge, and the fact that range anxiety does not exist in my car. The supercharger network is so close to each other, if that makes sense, as in station to station, that as long as you cater for 10-15 minutes of charging, you basically can get to the next charger. That might not be the case for everywhere in the UK or everywhere around the world, but you know, for example, I would have thought if I was taking a road trip to Scotland, that would be a bit more difficult. But generally in Wales, there's now going to be a supercharger coming in Aberystwyth, as well as somewhere in North Wales, where they haven't actually said which town it's going to be in. It is on a map, though, if you go on a supercharger map on the Tesla website. So yeah, I don't see it being a problem in the future. So when the Model 3s become available and a lot more of them about, the quantity will be a problem, I would have thought, because the supercharger station in Birmingham was busy when I was on the way up to Bradford. Not enough that anyone used the A and B bay, but enough that basically everyone was all parked in the A bays all the way around for at least 3 or 4 minutes. And I know it doesn't sound like much, but if you add, say, 10,000 Model 3s to the road, that then congests quite a bit. So we'll have to see how that pans out. But yeah, I hope you like this video. I know it's been a bit of a long one, but hopefully it's been a little bit informative, just to let you know what a kind of road trip looks like, or how many stops you make, and how your plans might change slightly around supercharging. But I don't foresee it being an issue for quite a while. So yeah, have a good one.